right, that's a good quote from Martin Luther King. Obviously one of the forefront guys who fought for civil rights in the United States of America.
Week since that death occurred,
right?
There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of confusion, but the key point is somebody is behind that, and somebody must be prosecuted for that.
Someone must take responsibility.
Yes.
But if you've been watching proceedings, especially from Parliament, when they were grilling the CS for Interior, that is Murkomen, when they were talking to IG Kanja, and every other person from the DCI that appeared before the panel, something came out that wasn't clear. They didn't say who ordered for the arrest of Albert Ojwang. They didn't say the officers that were transferring him. They came and said that much later. I don't know why is there so much kufichana. Why don't you just say Trisha is the one who ordered for this? Because there was an OB, and the OB contains all that, and OB says this is the complainant, this is the person who's been arrested, and this is the reason this person has been arrested, and this is basically what is going to happen going forward. That was never clear from the get
from the start. But now, as time goes by, we are seeing a lot of things which have been revealed.
Right.
Remember, there's last week we were talking of the CCTV footage. That's the footage that had been that was missing.
Oh yes, the one at the police
station.
Alone
the one for the hospital.
Right.
There is also the one for the police station. Then now I saw in the news that they got that footage.
Right.
That was missing.
The one that was apparently deleted.
Yes. And a lot. We still have questions.
I was watching Danstan Omari, who is the lawyer for OCS Talam. And do you know what he alleged? He said that perhaps it's IPOA who tampered with that footage. By the time you're making such an allegation, you either have concrete proof or you're just trying to lie to everyone so that you can just destabilize the whole situation. So we're waiting to see what happens as far as that is concerned. But so now it turns out these civilians that were detained with this teacher Albert Ojwang, apparently now they're the ones who were used to torture him. But there's this other story, he was tortured in
Karura. Then there's this other story that he hit himself
on the wall. Right.
So it's becoming hard to hold the government accountable.
Right.
For this.
We've been known as a country sometimes that has a lot of monkey business. But by the time you say, I don't know, have you ever tried hurting yourself intentionally? Like
it's not easy.
Would you punch a wall, for instance?
No, it's not easy.
Would you run head first into a wall?
At the moment you try the first one, you get back to your senses.
Yes.
Yeah, because of the pain, you get back to your senses.
Yeah.
So the second time, the third time, I'm telling you won't do it.
Right.
And even up to this extent of that, you become unconscious.
Right. It's just not possible. That's what you're saying.
Unanswered questions.
All right. Still on Albert Ojwang, there's this story by again by one of our reporters, and it's on Sakaja.
Yes.
Sakaja says that it is okay to demand justice for Juang, but reject violence and vandalism. Now, I want us to just talk about this situation for a minute. Every single time this country we've had protests, and especially for the last 1 year, since June last year, and even before that. You remember when Baba used to call for maandamano?
Yeah.
We always have this aspect of violence, whether it is vandalizing people's property, damaging vehicles,
yes,
property as well.
We have seen all that, by the way.
Why? Again, and I want to ask your opinion. Not that you're an expert or anything, but why do you think we always deteriorate to violence? Do you think Kenyans are the ones who do it, or as politicians like to say it, kuna watu wamelipwa wafanye violence?
I think it is just a combination. This is usually a combination of so many forces. First of all, of course, we have known most of the time when these guys go on the streets.
Right.
We also
by these guys, you mean Kenyans who are legitimate Kenyan protesters?
Yes, yes. Right. By the time they go to the streets, tuko pia na the gangs. We also have wezi pia.
Yeah.
Tunawaita burukenge. Yeah, that's what we call them. They usually say kwenye msafara wa mamba haukosi kenge pale.
So burukenge kwanza ni nani? Because nasikianga watu wakitukana hapa. Burukenge wewe. Burukenge is what?
Burukenge is just like it's I don't know. Locust. It's just like no.
Burukenge ni nini?
No, just like something like a looks just like a crocodile, but really? Crocodile.
Do you know burukenge for me sounds like an animal that can actually fly. So burukenge si mnyama ambaye anaburuka.
So you see, because it's like they belong in the same family, they almost look alike. That's why you are told that in the process aukosi burukenge pale ndani. So that is what we say now. Even in our country, when Kenyans, genuine Kenyans, go to the streets,
there are
some other goons who take advantage, and because they are also Kenyans, of course they will be in there.
Do you think they are paid by someone to cause chaos, or it is just
course,
mimi nakuanga tu mwizi lazima niende nikaibe wakati wa?
Of course, I'm saying kuna wale you could say wametumwa. Like what we had after the elections, we had a lot of stories about wengine walikuwa wametumwa, and then there's also others ambao mtu anatoka anasema kwamba leo ndo ile siku lazima nifanye hivi. Yeah, so
there's a trending video. I don't know if you've seen it, of just the recent protest that happened last week.
Yeah,
there's a lady who was seen snatching someone's phone.
A lady. Yes.
A lady. Ulikuwa nadhani wanawake hawezi fanya mambo?
Yeah.
Because we're used to men doing it.
Okay.
But she robbed actually another man. Na akasnatch simu.
That's so unfortunate. So unfortunate.
So there's some people who come to Nairobi CBD during these maandamanos and protests and whatever, ready to just make a living out of your misery.
Yeah, so as I was saying, there are so many factors, there are so many forces behind this protest. And what personally I don't like is that bit of vandalizing, that bit watu wanachoma magari. It's not right.
It's not right.
Yes.
I don't know when Kenya and Africa at large, I don't want to put it like it's a Kenyan problem alone, but just Africa at large, I don't know when we shall just have disciplined protests.
Yeah.
Protests that are not marred by violence.
Yeah.
And especially politics. And also protests that are not, they don't have that kind of interference. But we can just have legitimate voices being heard. So that is something that we'll definitely look at. Now, there's a story here from a day ago, before I let you give us your piece, about Mariga and Wanyama's mother, who died at dawn. That is yesterday. Now, Kenyan football, that actually is Saturday, sorry. Kenyan football stars McDonald Mariga and Victor Wanyama are mourning the death of their mother, Mildred Wanyama, who passed away early on Saturday morning. Now, in a statement shared on Saturday, Mariga confirmed the loss and said funeral arrangements were underway. They're currently making arrangements and will share more details as soon as they can. Now, Mildred was married to Noah Wanyama, a former AFC Leopards footballer, and together they raised 5 children. That is Mariga, Victor, Thomas, Sylvester Wanyama, and all of them were footballers. And their only daughter, Mercy, a professional basketball player in Spain. This is an athletic family. But pole sana to the Marigas,
of sports people.
Pole sana to the Wanyamas, for the loss of their mother. quite a sad moment for them.
Yes, on other news, still on our website, that is at Radio Generation, there is this story of ODM UDA alliance. Yes, they've fallen out with regards to the killing of Ojwang.
Right.
That is according to Senator Sifuna.
I mean, I will take that kidogo with some shock absorbers, because we know sometimes what within the ODM, structure.
Yeah.
And lately, specifically, the political class within ODM has been at loggerheads. We've seen just a couple of weeks ago when James Orengo, the governor of Siaya, and actually other leaders within ODM, they had issues. Raila anasema kitu kimoja, Sifuna anasema kingine.
Anasema yake.
Sasa Sifuna ndiye Secretary General, sivyo?
Yes.
And he has said that they are having issues with UDA over the death of Albert Ojwang?
Yes. Because of course there was that memorandum, there was that agreement that the president, once they come together, the president should also look into these extrajudicial killings and so forth. Right. Yes.
So now Sifuna is coming. Has Baba said anything? Because Baba asiposema siko ubaya. But to a lot of ODM hardcore supporters, people, especially those ones from Luo Nyanza.
Yes.
Wanasemanga baba asiposema hiyo kitu hajafanyika. Baba asiposema hiyo kitu haiko. So I don't know. Has Baba come out to say anything about this particular situation?
We're going to check into that. We see whether he has said anything. But as far as ODM, UDA marriage is concerned,
yes,
hakuna shida.
Okay, yes. Again, I keep on asking, in your own professional opinion, do you think that is something that is going to happen?
Well, it will happen on the papers, right? It can happen on the papers.
Right.
But now in the actual, you see, ODM is a party,
right,
and has many. It has many members.
Right.
And each and every one of them has their own opinion. And there's a way they are looking at things.
Right.
So, because that is the reason why you see some of the ODM members, they joined the government. And you remember that time they were joining, we were told that they are doing this at their own will.
Yes.
It is not ODM that is joining the government. It is individual members.
Right.
So
akina Junet waliingia pale ndani, akina Opio Wandai, now the CS, and many others, akina Oparanya, when they were joining them, they joined as individuals.
That is what they said initially. Yes, initially that is what they were saying, but later on tumeona mpaka baba mwenyewe amekuja pia. You see,
I am laughing because this country is just full of clowns. Siko ubaya. And that's just my opinion.
So yes.
Yeah, a lot of clowns as far as these things are concerned, and I'm just waiting to see if what Edwin Sifuna, the Secretary General now and Senate of Nairobi, has said, whether it's going to materialize, whether we're going to see also Baba coming out and supporting that particular statement, or kama kawaida atakuja sema nini, sasa watu wengine hapa kama kuna shida wanyamaze. And it's going to be very unfortunate if that is what is going to happen. Yeah, I want to give you a little bit of traffic updates before we get into the newspaper review. I'm looking at the roads right now. It's 7:22 in the AM. Things are not looking bad, but Ngong Road is looking good as you're heading towards the Nairobi Funeral Home. Things are not bad on that particular road. Nothing to complain about. Let me check where else. Mombasa Road, kama unatoka pande za Mlolongo, trying to get into Nairobi CBD. If you're coming from Kitengela, actually, as you're getting to 3Ds, a little bit of traffic there because we know hapo kuna magari matatu zupenda kusimama kwa barabara zinazuia. But after that crossing all the way through the SGR, things are looking fantastic. If you can use the expressway, good for you. You might save yourself a little bit of time. Also heading past General Motors, a little bit of traffic there as you're leaving Imaradaima, getting on to General Motors, but kila kitu kiko sawa after that. Then the next traffic you will encounter, let me see, Pale Bellevue as you're trying to get into Nyayo National Stadium. After that, traffic inashikana hadi CBD, but you can try and escape it through Mbagathi Way, probably get onto Ngong Road. That's if you're heading towards Ngong Road. But if you're still heading into town, you can take or your way all the way to the Nairobi Funeral Home, then Shikanisha Daystar University, Teremka Valley Road, and everything is looking fantastico for you.
Okay, Thika Road, things are just okay up to around KCA.
Right.
You know, imagine traffic starts at KCA.
Yes.
All the way through Pangani to town.
That is why I said I'll never live on Thika Road. Yeah.
What were Thika?
I don't know where they get their strength from.
Yeah.
They need Jesus.
And that's when they arrive in town. So tired. Worn out. Well, anyway, we are sorry for that. Those of you coming all the way from Isili, around Kariako, Pale Pia, there is a bit of a snarl up.
Right.
Those of you coming all the way from Jogo Road, around City Stadium, be prepared. There is also a bit of a snarl up all the way to town. And then there are people from Mombasa, you know. Mombasa people are tuned in on 90.7.
Yes.
And I'm being told that around just around Light Kengeleni, there is a bit of traffic. Pale kuna polisi, there is a junction.
Right.
And that is why there is a bit of traffic. And pia ni sokoni. You know, people get up very early in the morning going to get stuff.
Right.
And that is why there's traffic. Also, ferry nambiwa zipo nne. Watu wa Mombasa.
Yes.
Ferry nambiwa zipo nne. There is no traffic there at all. That is around the ferry crossing
and then
channel.
the road, inaitwa Dogo Kundu ilifunguliwa.
Yeah, Ndongo Kundu.
Huko hakuna shida sasa.
Yes. Akule ni safi kabisa all the way to Ukunda Diani.
All right.
Everything is fine.
We're taking a short music break, but when we return, we shall be going through the newspapers, letting you know also what is in the headlines.